The offseason hasn't even started, and Alex Anthopoulos may have already found his shortstop for 2026. We'll talk about the pickup of Ha-seong Kim on today's episode of Locked On Braves, so let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Jake Mastroianni. You can follow me on social media at Shortstop Ball. Check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves on X and Locked On Braves on Instagram. If you're new and you're watching this on YouTube, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and leave me a comment down below. On the audio side of things, you can help out as well. Just leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Braves is available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you for all the support that you continue to give me here at Locked On Braves. Thanks to all my everydayers out there continuing to tune in, even as an abysmal season continues. Another frustrating loss for the Atlanta Braves on Monday, blowing a lead late. We talked about that on the postcast. You want to relive that one. But today we're going to talk about the signing of Ha-seong Kim, or rather the acquisition of Ha-seong Kim, and what it means for the offseason, what it means for the future at the shortstop position for the Atlanta Braves, what it means for Nick Allen. We'll also get into our minor league spotlight segment, talk about what happened from last week down on the farm. Could there be any shortstops coming up rather quickly to help out at the big league level? That is a huge question that a lot of Braves fans are asking. We'll get into all that on today's episode, which is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season, NFL season is around the corner. College football season is here. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets for the NFL season. So a little bit of a shocking news on Monday as the Atlanta Braves claim shortstop infielder Ha-seong Kim from the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, Kim, talked about him a lot last offseason. I had many people tag me after the move was made saying, things like it didn't happen when we thought, but it did finally happen. But the Atlanta Braves do get Ha-seong Kim. And it's been a rough year. Again, we talked about it a lot in the offseason. We knew he was dealing with a shoulder injury. We knew he was going to be delayed to start the season. But even still, there was, you already had Orlando Arcia at the time. You felt like you could roll with him to begin the season if you were to sign Kim and then hopefully get him back by, end of May, early June, and he could potentially be your shortstop for, this season and the next. And we knew Ha-seong Kim was looking for a shorter term deal. So it just all kind of made a lot of sense. And then Tampa Bay kind of, swooped in and gave him that player option, gave him that opt-out for 2026. And that's what we do kind of have to talk about here. This is a big deal. Ha-seong Kim owed around $2 million the rest of this year. That's not a big deal. The Braves are going to be well under the luxury tax at this point, as they didn't have to use their insurance money to make any big moves at the deadline acquiring talent. So they're going to be fine with that $2 million and stay under the luxury tax. But he has a $16 million player option for 2026, which he is very likely to pick up unless he just wins player of the month for September and he feels like he can get a better deal in the offseason, or he just absolutely hates being with the Braves in Atlanta. It's almost a guarantee that he's going to pick up that $16 million player option for 2026, which makes this move highly, highly interesting on the Atlanta Braves' part, because you have to know that, obviously, when you decide to claim him and take on that contract, that that he's probably going to pick up that $16 million option. You're going to be on the hook for that next year. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but just keep that in mind. Now, as far as Ha-seong Kim and what's happened this year, as I said, we knew he'd be delayed to start the season. We thought it'd be around May. It ended up being end of May, where he began a rehab assignment, but then he had a setback in the middle of June that cost him a week. He ramped things back up at the end of June, joined the Rays on July 4th. That was his first action. So again, he didn't see major league action until July. So missed a lot more time than anticipated. He landed on the IL again on July 21st or July 25th and returned on August 1st. And then he went on the IL again on August 21st with a back issue, and the Rays were set to return him this week, which smart timing for them to try to put him through waivers now that he is returning and making more likely that a team might pick him up. And that's exactly what the Braves did. And it sounds like the plan is for Ha-seong Kim to join the Braves in Chicago on Tuesday. So we could see him in the lineup as early as Tuesday. And the Braves obviously are going to want to see as much as they can of him the rest of the way. Now, Ha-seong Kim, by the numbers, in 2025, he's played 21 games at AAA this year, slashing 208, 352, 250, 602, with 3 doubles, no home runs, 15 walks to 10 steals, and 6 stolen bases. At the big league level in 24 games, slashing just 214, 290, with a 321 slug, just a 611 OPS, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 8 walks to 23 strikeouts, and 6 stolen bases. So 12 stolen bases combined this year in 45 games between AAA and the big league level, which is very intriguing for this Braves lineup and team, which could definitely use some more speed. Now, you look at Ha-seong Kim from 2021 to 2024 after playing in the KBO and coming over, 15.1 B WAR, that's baseball reference WAR, 540 games, slash 242, 326, 380, 706. So, again, not counting 2025, but his first 4 seasons in the big leagues, little above 700 OPS player. His per season average, 135 games, 57 runs, 20 doubles, 12 homers, 50 RBI, 20 stolen bases, and a 98 OPS plus. Very average offensively. Now, 2023 was his big year for him. Probably wishes this was the year that he would have hit free agency. 152 games played that season. And we all know 2023, we can definitely admit now the baseballs were juiced. But 2023, he slashes 260, 351, 398, 749, 84 runs, 17 home runs, 60 RBI, 38 stolen bases, a 12% walk rate, a 19.8% strikeout rate, a 110 WRC plus, and 4.2 F WAR as he won a Gold Glove that year. So his best season probably will be his best season in the big leagues was 2023, but he was solid in 2022 and 2024 as well, around league average offensively and well above average defensively, playing both second base and shortstop. Now, 2023, he was playing primarily second base, and that's when he had his best season, which is interesting, and I want to highlight that more a little bit later on as well. But in 2022, 2024, primarily playing shortstop. So next, I want to get into what this means now for the Atlanta Braves, what it means for next year, what it means for the upcoming offseason, because I think this move tells us a good bit about the offseason as well. Along with the Byron Buxton rumor that we heard earlier at the trade deadline, I think we're getting a pretty good notion of what this offseason could look like. I also want to talk about what it means for Nick Allen, and does he have a future role on this team now? We'll get into all of that here next. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. All you got to do is check out the Prize Picks app daily. Look at your favorite more or less options on there. You think Chris Sale coming up, pitching again in a few days, think he's going to get, more than 9 strikeouts, whatever they have for him on that day. You just pick more or less. You think whoever's pitching against the Braves that day has a really good chance of having a good outing. You can take advantage of that as well on Prize Picks. It's that easy, and it's so very quick. And the best part, even if one of your picks misses, Prize Picks invented the flex play, so you can still double your money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Also, please make sure that you do play it responsibly. And if you need help, please make sure that you seek it. The code for Prize Picks is Locked On MLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. The NFL season is almost here, beginning this Thursday, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And doing FanDuel reads for a while, I don't know that I've ever seen them hand out $300 in bonus bets before. So this is a pretty big one here. You got player props, building a same game parlay, jumping in live action as the game unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to those Sunday afternoons. Also, make sure you visit fanduel.com/playsafe for tools and resources to help you stay in control of the way you play. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting fanduel.com to get started. That's fanduel.com to place your first $5 bet with a chance to win $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. We also have an important request for you. Locked On wants to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's at lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. And thank you so much for helping us out. And thanks so much for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. Go check out Locked On MLB for your second listen of the day. Slowly getting caught up with all the action happening around Major League Baseball. Those teams who are actually fighting for a postseason chance. And the guys at MLB Game Night do a fantastic job of bringing you the biggest and best highlights from each and every night as well. Let's jump back into the Ha-seong Kim acquisition, though, and what it means for now for the Atlanta Braves the rest of this season. I think we're going to see Ha-seong Kim out there every day. Now, granted, it has been a tumultuous year for him injury-wise. Again, we knew he had the shoulder issue coming in, but then just the setbacks along the way in his recovery, the back issues. It's been a lost year for Ha-seong Kim. So we'll see how the Braves handle that, but I would imagine he's going to be out there every single day. I'd imagine he's going to be out there at shortstop. So that's probably what we're going to see the rest of this season. It will be an evaluation period for the Atlanta Braves, but it's the same time, like I said, it's a $16 million player option. So even if they evaluate him and decide this isn't what we were hoping for, there's nothing they can really do. If he picks up that $16 million option, then they're on the hook for it, unless there's some sort of renegotiation of a contract once he's over here. But as it stands right now, he's going to be here next season for $16 million. Now, what it means for next year, as I just said, very likely he's going to pick up that option and be on this roster. And I think he's going to have a very good chance of being the Braves' starting shortstop to begin 2026. If he can, one, prove that he's healthy and prove that the shoulder isn't an issue with throwing from shortstop. I mean, that's going to be the big thing for him this season. Not a lot of attempts, obviously, this year for Ha-seong Kim throwing wise at shortstop, but that's going to be something the Braves are going to want to evaluate themselves. And you've seen with Nick Allen, don't necessarily have to have the strongest arm. Just looking at it right now on Savant, he ranks 43rd percentile in arm strength, but you don't have to have the strongest arm from shortstop with the skills and the range that Ha-seong Kim and a guy like Nick Allen has. But that is something that the Braves definitely want to take a look at. And number two, can he show the on-base speed and a little bit of pop, which we haven't seen with him coming back? And is that a factor of the shoulder and the injuries that he's been dealing with? The back injuries obviously is going to take away some of your power, but can he show that on-base speed and that little bit of pop that he's shown in the past to be at least an average offensive player for the Atlanta Braves? Or, just to perform enough to be better than Nick Allen, which again is a pretty low bar offensively. We talked a lot about Nick Allen. We will hear again in a second. Here's the other thing too that I haven't seen anybody else talk about it yet. Could also be an option for second base. Let's just say nothing else, or let's just say this. Let's say the Braves want to spend big. They want to go get Bo Bichette to be the shortstop, and Bo Bichette might need to be a second baseman before too long as well. But let's just say the Braves find that shortstop, a deal works, and they find that shortstop, but they want to move off Ozzie Albies at second base. Let's just say that is what happens. You could put Ha-seong Kim there. He could be your replacement at second base. Now, again, and it's been a rough year for Ha-seong Kim. I wouldn't judge it too much, but even based on Ha-seong Kim's best years, it's not a no doubter that he's better than Ozzie, even what Ozzie has been this year. Like I said, even in Ha-seong Kim's best year, it's a 750 OPS, and he's more likely a 700 OPS type of player, which is better than what the Braves are getting offensively at shortstop right now, a lot better than what they're getting. But I don't know that that's enough that if it didn't work out at shortstop, you could just move to second base and him be your replacement for Ozzie Albies. I don't know that that is a good decision. Now, really, what I really want to talk about and what this gives me hope for is what it means for the offseason. And for me, this move and the rumors on Byron Buxton at the trade deadline, like I talked about then, it tells me there's money to be spent. If you are willing to take a $16 million gamble on Ha-seong Kim, that tells me, or at least it better mean, that there is money to be spent this offseason, that you are not going to hold back this offseason, because that very well could just be $16 million you have to eat. I mean, if Ha-seong Kim's just not healthy coming back from these injuries, he cannot get on board and at least be the guy that he was, the 700 to 750 OPS guy that he was, you're on the hook for $16 million with this guy. So thinking optimistically, what this tells me about the offseason is that the Braves have money to spend, and they're going to spend. Now, I'd love for them to spend on some more certainty rather than continuing to throw money on hopes and dreams, because that was the whole issue with Jarred Kelenic. Instead of going out and getting somebody more solid, spending that $24 million to get somebody more solid or to provide some more depth for the rest of your team, you took a chance on Jarred Kelenic, and that hasn't worked out. And you took a chance on a guy that you were hoping you could fix that could live up to all of his hype. And you're kind of doing the same thing now. You're taking a chance on Ha-seong Kim that he can get healthy and next year, be the type of player that he was before, which was a, average offensive player and above average defender at shortstop. That's what you're hoping. You don't know that, and you're risking $16 million to see that. Again, I would be shocked if they're willing to do that, but not willing to spend on some more certainty in the offseason, not willing to spend to get the pitching depth that you need, both in the rotation and the bullpen, not to spend to get that one big upgrade bat in the lineup. And see Joe Me saying this move scares me that Kim will be the only bat added. Me too. If you're willing to go out and do this and take a $16 million gamble and risk on Ha-seong Kim, but you're not willing to go out and spend money to get something more that you're more confident in position play. If this is, I'll just say this simply, if this is the only position player move made in the offseason, counting this as the offseason, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. If this is the only big money move that is made in the offseason, I'm going to be very disappointed. But I'm trying to look at it optimistically here with the Buxton rumors, and now with this, that there is money to be spent, that the restraints are going to be off of Alex this offseason, and he's going to be able to spend more money. Never going to spend stupid money. That's just not Alex's MO, and it's not really what the Braves do either, but that he's going to have that flexibility to spend this offseason. That's what I'm choosing to believe this means. I think this also confirms what we've already talked about, in that the shortstop options this winter are going to be very, very limited. It's going to be Bo Bichette, and then that's it. And like I've said, and many others too, I don't know that Bo Bichette can stay at shortstop. Now, when I've watched him, he looks fine there. But, you're going to have to sign him in the way he's been playing here lately, and the way he's playing offensively. You're talking about a guy that's probably going to get at least $30 million a year, and you're going to get an Alexander Bogaerts situation. I know Bogaerts has, kind of gone back to shortstop, but you're going to sign an 11-year deal for a guy to be your shortstop, and you're going to move him off shortstop year 2 into that deal. And that's just not a good look. So, but that's the best option. And there just aren't many teams out there that are looking to trade great shortstops. There's just not many teams that are going to do that. I know we all can sit here and say, yeah, go trade for Colson Montgomery. He looks pretty good with the White Sox. Let's go, trade for Jordan Lawler, which I think could make more sense and might actually be available, but that's still an unknown. Go trade for Mason Wynn. Go trade for Ezekiel Tovar. Teams just aren't eager to give up young, controllable, good shortstops. Those are very hard to come by. You don't see teams just giving away Trey Turners like we have actually seen in the past. But that was obviously before he was Trey Turner and all that. It just doesn't happen a lot. So there's not going to be a ton of options for shortstop this offseason. And I think AA notices that, recognizes that, and says, this may be the best chance that I get at upgrading shortstop for next season. And so for that reason, I appreciate the gamble. I appreciate the risk, but it is a risk and it is a huge gamble. And it might be the only thing that you can find at shortstop. Now, I don't think this should stop him, that if something does come along or Bo Bichette seems more affordable, or a trade option does come up, that you should let Kim block you from making that deal. But just looking at what could be available, Kim might be the second best option that you have at upgrading at shortstop this offseason. Now, what does this mean for Nick Allen? It's been fun. We talked about it with Nick Allen last week or the week before. Again, my weeks are running together. And I tried to tell you, love watching Nick Allen play defense. Looking like he's not going to win that Gold Glove at this point, either Mason Wynn or Trey Turner. But you just can't have a guy be the worst hitter in all of baseball in your lineup, even in the 9-hole, even playing as good as defense as he has been. Now, let me clarify that, because I've seen this going around on social media as well. Nick Allen is not the reason that the Braves weren't good this year. There are probably 3 or 4 at least other reasons I could give you for why the Braves weren't good this year. Nick Allen is not the cause for that, but it definitely would help if you could get at least a league average offensive player instead of somebody who is statistically the worst hitter of all the baseball and has been the worst hitter of all the baseball since he stepped into the big leagues. So again, like I said in that podcast, the Braves aren't going to have Nick Allen as their shortstop in 2026. They just can't. And Ha-seong Kim might be your best chance at upgrading that position going into next season. So I like the move. I certainly do, but I share some of Joe's concerns too. This can't be the only move that you make, but I think it probably is one of the best moves that you can make to try to upgrade your shortstop position for next year. But let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. Can't wait to see what he looks like in the month of September. But again, with that $16 million player option, there's a good chance he's going to be around next year. And look, if it doesn't work out at shortstop, it's expensive, but would be a really good utility player as a guy that can play short, second, third base, good defensive replacement, good speed. He brings some other intangibles for you. Again, that's a lot to pay for $16 million. But, if Ozzie gets hurt, Ha-seong Kim steps in. If Austin Riley gets hurt again, Ha-seong Kim can step in. So, again, it's a very expensive utility bench guy, but that could be a role for him if it just doesn't look like he can hold it down full-time at shortstop. And if he can't hold it down full-time at shortstop, then I don't know what the answer is. So, fingers crossed for Ha-seong Kim that everything works out there. All right, next we'll get into our minor league spotlight for the week. We'll see what could be some prospects that maybe get a chance next year. Who could be that next rising shortstop? We'll talk about all that here next. Hey, Locked On Braves fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought it was too good to be true as well, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Well, the Braves had another pretty good week at the minor league level. Things are wrapping up there. Down at Gwinnett, Luke Waddell went 9 for 22 with 2 doubles, a walk, and 2 stolen bases. Jonathan Orneas, 4 home runs last week, a double as well, 8 hits in total. No walks, 5 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Connor Capel, 5 for 16 with a double and 5 walks. Jared Kelenic played in just 1 game last week. Not sure what's up with that, if injured or whatnot. Yeah, we talked about the Kelenic move earlier. Feels like a dud at this point. Feels like just time to cut your losses with Jared Kelly, but we'll see what happens with him in the offseason. Jim Jarvis, who got moved up to AAA, went 3 for 9 with 2 doubles. And Dave McKay, bit of a rough week for Dave McKay, moving up to AAA, just 3 for 20, but did have a home run, 3 walks to 10 strikeouts. And then J.R. Ritchie, 6 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 1 hit batter, no earned, and 11 strikeouts. There were a couple of games on Monday as well. I usually do this on Monday because there aren't any minor league games, but there were 2 this week. And one of them was Gwinnett, which was J.R. Ritchie, and I believe he pitched 5 shutout innings. So, had that real rough start 3 starts ago now, but his last 2 have looked more like J.R. Ritchie. Still don't think he's going to get that opportunity at the big league level this year, but certainly could come into spring training in, competition, or we could see him very early on sometime next season. Giancarlo Lara, 2 2/3 innings, just 1 hit, but 3 walks and a hit batter, 2 earned, and 6 strikeouts. Just move him back to reliever. Just put him back as a reliever. I understand the desire after he was so good in that reliever role to try to push him back as a starter. Just leave him as a reliever. Let him cook. Get him in your bullpen. He can be a closer. Jose Suarez, 6 innings, 3 hits, no walks, no earned, and 6 strikeouts. Daysville Hernandez, talked about this the other day. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or on the postcast. Either way, you listen to all of them, so thank you. But big end of the season for Daysville. He's going to get called back up at some point. Need him to finish strong and prove that he is and can be a big part of this bullpen next year. 2 2/3 innings last week, a hit, 2 walks, an earned run, 4 strikeouts, and 2 saves. Hayden Harris, 2 innings, a hit, no walks, no earned, 3 strikeouts, and a save. I just laugh every time I read Hayden Harris's line. I mean, credit to that man, because if I'm him, I'm saying, what more do I have to do to at least get a chance? And I just don't know why he hasn't been given one at this point. Blake Burkhalter, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 2 strikeouts last week. The Columbus Klingstones, EJ Exposito, maybe the best offensive week for anybody across the minor league level, goes 10 for 22, a double, a triple, and a home run. So it's for a cycle on the week. Ethan Workinger, 9 for 21 with a double, 2 triples, and 2 walks. And then Ambioris Taveras, just 4 for 13, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, but one of the better weeks we've seen from him in a while, so wanted to mention it. On the pitching side at Columbus, Lucas Braun made 2 starts last week, both of them fantastic. August 26th, he goes 6 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. August 31st, 7 innings, 1 hit, no walks, no earned, and 9 strikeouts. Crazy to me that you face the same team in a 5-day span, and your second start is even better than your first one. But credit to Lucas Braun there. Ian Mejia, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned, 9 strikeouts. Braves got to make a decision on him with the 40-man roster this offseason, or risk losing him in the Rule 5 draft. Blaine Abetta, 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no earned, and 6 Ks. Landon Harper, same deal with him. He's going to be a Rule 5 guy. 7 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts. And Ryan Barassa, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and 2 saves. At Rome, Cody Miller, 8 for 26, 2 doubles, a triple, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. He's been fantastic. Certainly one of the bright spots from this past draft. I think there's several bright spots, but Cody Miller been one of the best ones so far. Jake Steele, 7 for 10 with a homer this past week. Alex Lodi, 6 for 25, a double, a walk to 12 strikeouts, and a stolen base. It has not been good for Alex Lodi so far, just based on the strikeout numbers. Again, a college hitter playing in the ACC, you'd expect the bat, even at high A, to be a little bit better than what I think we've seen from Alex Lodi so far. And again, I'm not watching all the games, but just judging by the numbers and the strikeout numbers, hasn't been a great start for Alex Lodi, for a guy that maybe you were hoping could move through pretty quickly. On the pitching side at Rome, Logan Samuels, 4 innings, 10 strikeouts. Garrett Ballman, 7 innings, just 2 hits, 2 walks, no earned, and 8 strikeouts. Eric Hernandez, 4 innings, 7 strikeouts, but also 5 walks. Luke Sennard, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 1 earned, 7 Ks. Jacob Kroger pitched in 2 games, 9 innings, just 2 earned runs. Owen Murphy, a bit of a subpar start for him, 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned, and 2 strikeouts. And then finally at Augusta, Owen Carey, 6 for 25 with a double and a homer and 4 walks. John Hill, 6 for 22 with 3 doubles, 5 walks, and 2 stolen bases. Dixon Williams, another kind of surprise find in the last draft out of ECU, 6 for 19, a triple, a homer, 5 walks, and a stolen base. Hayden Freeze, they took in the last pick of the 2025 draft, has a 408 on-base percentage so far. And then Tate Southesine, obviously their first-round pick, 5 for 22, a double, no walks to 6 strikeouts, and a stolen base. And on the pitching side at Augusta, Cam Caminiti, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts. Jeremy Reyes, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, no earned, 5 strikeouts. Ethan Bagwell, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned, 4 strikeouts. And then Cade Woods, again, another recent draft pick, 2 games, 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned, 4 Ks. He's going to be the guy. Cade Woods is going to be the guy that has the big arm that they're going to give every opportunity to try to figure it out as a starter. When if you just put him as a reliever, he's probably would move through pretty quickly because he's always had that good stuff at the college level and just struggle with command, struggle with injuries, but has big time stuff. And I feel like if you just left him in a reliever role, maybe pitching in the bullpen next year. But we know the Braves, they're going to give him every opportunity to try and start. But we'll see what happens with Cade Woods. But a lot of good stuff, especially more so on the pitching side. We had seen a lot of good stuff offensively here over the last several weeks. This week, thought it was down a little bit, but the pitching side was really strong. J.R. Ritchie, now counting a start on Monday, 2 really good starts now. Lucas Braun looking good. Cody Miller, Dixon Williams, a couple of bats from past draft looking good. Garrett Ballman with a really good start too. So that's great to see. Well, that would do for this episode of Locked On Braves. Thanks so much for joining me as always. Those joining me live, Stephen P., Joe Me, Marshall Moss. Thank you all for being here live. I appreciate you so much for the kind comments and joining me here. Also, we have another big moment for Locked On college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV presents College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Hawley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. All right, now that will do it for this episode of Locked On Braves. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you're new, hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you.